Inheritance. Inheritance is a process by which genetic information is passed on from parent to child. This is why members of the same family tend to have similar characteristics. Gregor Mendel, through his work on pea plants, discovered the fundamental laws of inheritance. He deduced that genes come in pairs and are inherited as distinct units, one from each parent. He tracked parents' offspring's physical appearances and came up with 3 laws: the law of segregation, the law of independent assortment, and the law of dominance. The law of segregation portrays each inherited trait is defined by a gene pair. Parenthood genes are randomly separated to the sex cells, so that sex cells contain only one gene of a pair. Offsprings therefore inherit one genetic allele from each parent when sex cells unite in fertilization. The law of independent assortment talks about inheritance and how different traits are arranged separately from one another, allowing the trait or feature to not depend on the inheritance of the other. The law of dominance portrays a heterozygous genotype and how the gene will express the dominant allele. Most of our cells hold 2 sets of 23 chromosomes. This is called a diploid cell. An exception to this rule are sex cells, egg and sperm, also known as gametes, which only have 1 set of chromosomes each. They are haploid. During the process of sexual reproduction, the gametes fuse together, egg and sperm, to form one cell with 2 pairs of 23 chromosomes called a zygote. This cell has now formed into a diploid cell. It has a complete set of instructions needed to make more cells and eventually a whole person. In the process of the organism forming, it is collecting genetic information from 2 parents, forming genotypes and phenotypes. A genotype is the unique genetic makeup of an individual which may influence their physical appearance, which is their phenotype. For example, 2 parents with brown eyes want a child. Their genotype for brown eyes would be big B or big B little b depending on their parents. These Punnett square examples determine the offspring's physical appearance for their eyes. As you can see, if both parents' genotypes were big B, there would be 100% chance of the offspring's eyes being brown. There would also be 100% chance of the offspring's eyes being brown if one parent's genotype was big B and the other parent's was big B little b. However, if both parents were to carry the genotype big B little b, there is 75% chance that the offspring will have brown eyes and 25% chance that the offspring may have blue eyes. Genotypes are made up of alleles. Alleles are an alternative form of a gene. Alleles are described as either dominant or recessive depending on their associated traits. A genotype contains 2 alleles. Dominant alleles show their effect even if the individual only has 1 copy of the allele. Recessive alleles then only show their physical appearance if the individual has 2 copies of recessive alleles. A genotype with recessive alleles means the genotype would be recessive homozygous. Homozygous means the genotype is pure breed and has 2 of the same alleles. This would be the same for dominant alleles. However, a genotype which has 1 dominant allele and 1 recessive allele is heterozygous. This means the genotype is crossbreed and that both parents' eye colours were different. Sex cells divide through the process meiosis. There are 2 steps to the forming of gametes. Meiosis 1 is the splitting of a cell which has 46 chromosomes, which forms 2 cells of 23. Meiosis 2 then splits the cell again into another 2 cells, which are sex cells. It is important for us to know the history of inheritance as it is the core of our evolution and can answer many questions on how diseases or traits are inherited. Family history can provide couples with the risks of possible diseases, genes, and traits that a child may inherit. In conclusion, Mendel's law covers the importance of inheritance. You may inherit dominant or recessive genes which result in your genotype and phenotype. Sex cells divide through the process of meiosis to make you and me.